they're going to send COVID violators to special camps and detention centers. And if you remember what happened the last time I used those 3 words in a Facebook post, I earned myself a 72-hour ban for hate speech. So the German, what world do we live in? Welcome to 2021, where the German government can announce that it's going to send COVID violators to special camps and detention centers. But if you put 3 German words in a Facebook post, you'll be banned for hate speech.
Quick admin note. I'm just verifying that you're not doing the wrong day's show.
No, I am. I'm just that's there. It's there. Yeah.
What
we're going to talk about today? I just wanted to talk about that.
Okay. What I was trying to make sure is I wasn't looking at the wrong notes. Okay.
No. And so what I had to do when people in our world are saying, "Hey, did you see what Germany's doing?" Yeah, and you can't put, well, somebody did, and I'm thinking they're going to earn themselves I wrote a whole article about how Facebook has essentially they have throttled, banned, censored the history of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, because if you talk about that, if you bring up actual factual history, it's race. Was it racist or hate speech or something? Like if you tell people, hey, we need to learn history because if you don't learn it, then you're doomed to repeat it. That's hate speech. Can't have that. We're going to talk about President Trump's accomplishments today. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about the Not Show and a little bit about training. All of that and more, on today's episode of Student of the Gun Radio.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Whew. Yes, I violated. Yeah, I forgot that I took a screenshot of that to save it for posterity. But yep, I commented that Arbeit macht frei, and I was 72-hour banned for violating community hate speech.
Yep, I stuck the link in
Thank you for doing that.
In the show notes for you guys. So if you're listening to this and you haven't yet read that article, it's called Facebook Censors Nazi History. It is on studentofthegun.com. Go in there to the show notes, click that link, and read the article. Leave a comment if you have the time.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to study history. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of time. All right, we will attempt to do a Q&A at the end of the show if you're watching live. Are we live on all the live channels, boys?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
All right, Zach says, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Pirate talk. That goes into our leadership training.
It does.
But what we're going to do first, if you're watching live, great, fantastic. And if you have a question, feel free to drop one in there. But we're going to go into our Brownells Bullet Points of the week.
Of the year.
Oh, really? Really?
Huh.
Really? All right. So what are we going to talk about here? We're going to talk about, in the Brownells Bullet Points, we're going to talk about the Not Show. Not! All right. We reminded you guys of this last week. We told you they were going to, because this is normally the time when we would have the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, but we're not because COVID. We're all going to die. So we're the guys at Brownells are just trying to make the best of a bad situation. It started on Monday, and on Monday they talked about new gear from Magpul, and then they had a word from their co-sponsors, These are pre-produced segments that they're releasing each day. And if you want to know what's new and what companies are planning to release this year, whether it's in quarter one or quarter two or quarter three, just jump on there. The guys at Polymer 80, have released a G43 frame. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
A G43 sized frame. Now, what do we know about the G43 size frame? That it's the 42 and the 43 are the same size, right? Yep. So, and also something that I'm going to drop in here to remind you guys of, Night Vision, FISION sights, Tritium sights, and we've been working with those guys for a couple of years now. Came up with the accurate sights for standard Glocks, your Glock 19, 17, 22, 23, basically your standard Glock sight cut, right? Then we did another set for the 42, 43 X-ray, and what you need to know is that the 48, which is an extremely popular Glock pistol right now, the 48 has the same slide cut or sight cut in the slides. I guess it could be slide cut. It's the same sight cut as the 42s and 43s and 43Xs and so forth. So if you are a guy out there or a girl and you recently picked up a G48, single stack Glock 48, and you're like, man, these plastic sights are not really doing it for me. Yeah, well, I'm with you. I'm down with you. I get it. Those little plastic sights are not doing it. Any Tritium sights or aftermarket sights that will fit a 43 or a 43X will fit on your 48. And as an added benefit, the way we designed them, they are point of aim, point of impact from 5 yards to 50 feet. So you're welcome. You're welcome. I wasn't planning on talking about it, but if we haven't talked about it in a while, so I figured what the hell, I'll drop it in there. Accurate sights are available for Glocks, for Smith & Wesson shields, whether it's 9, 40, or 45, and also the CZ P10 Charlie. A lot of you CZ fans out there in the world, you're like, ooh, Mr. Cotter, I love this. The CZ P10 is the coolest gun in the history of the world. Well, rock on, brother. You can get yourself some Student of the Gun Accurate sights. And right now, they're only $110 for Tritium sights on the Night Vision website.
Woo, you better go there. Holy cow.
You say, how can that be? That doesn't make any sense. Do you know how that is? Do you want to explain to them how that is and why that could possibly be? You say, well, how come X company's charging $187, $215 for them, and the other companies must be better, right?
Well, it's because Night Vision does they place the Tritium for most other. Well, let's see. There's two people that import Tritium. It's Night Vision, what's actually their parent company, Kaminga, and Trigicon, I believe.
Yep.
And so because of that, there's only those two companies. Those two companies fueled everybody else that has Tritium in something. So if you think about how business works, when you have to resell something, you have to add a margin to it so that you can pay your employees and make a little bit of a profit so that you can continue to run the business. And well, Night Vision, they've cut that out because they are the importer of the Tritium. So they don't have to have a margin markup on that. And so they've got the ability to make the Tritium brighter because they can inject more of it for the less cost, and B, they don't have to add a margin to that, so they can do it themselves, same quality or better quality, and then put it on the market for a little bit less expensive. So I think that they're doing a great service because they're allowing quality products out there for less expensive price, and so more people have access to it.
Yeah, Night Vision, they are the manufacturer. Yeah. They don't send their stuff off to somebody else to have the Tritium installed and then send it back to them and then package it and then sell it to you, which is whether you're in love with X site company or not. Here's the fact: they are like Jared said, if it's not Trigicon or Night Vision, every other night sight company in America is sending their sights to them to have the Tritium installed. Then they send them back. Then they package them up and send them to you. Night Vision has been in the Tritium business for 35 years or more. They've been making the compasses for the Tritium compasses for the U.S. military for, I think it's 35 years now. It was 33 years a couple of years ago when we were up there visiting them. So add a couple of years to it. Either way, they know Tritium, they know night sights, and they're good people. It's a family-owned business. So if you're looking for quality sights, go to nightvision.com, and that's Night Vision with an F, and check out the Accurate line of sights. They were made purposefully and deliberately by, well, should I say by me? By me.
You designed them. And,
yeah.
Those of you that are,
they built them.
Those of you that are interested in learning more about the Accurate specifically, we did an article. It's called Accurate Sights, Everything You Need to Know. So we've obviously had quite a few questions come in about the Accurate sights. So we've compiled all those questions, the answers to all of those questions in one single place. So you can go, if you don't have a set yet, or you got a set and you need to know how to install it, then go to this page. It's in the show notes as well. It's called Accurate Sights, Everything You Need to Know. And everything you need to know about Accurate sights is in that. It's
That's right. That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. All right. And the one thing that you guys might find kind of neat or cool or interesting with the Knot Show, the Brownells Knot Show, if you go there and view the videos at the Knot Show, you can click the big giant banner that says giveaway. If you click that big old banner that says giveaway and enter your email address and submit it, then you are automatically entered to win. So congratulations to you. I don't know who won, but that is a thing. And you can see when you go there, you can see what they're giving away. You could win a Stag Arms Stag 10. Wow. They're giving away a rifle? Get the Farfik Nugan out of here. They're giving away triggers. They're giving away mags. Wow. They're giving away, these aren't just trinkets. They're giving away a freaking rifle. And do I need to tell you guys what firearms are going for today? Like 100 times more than they were 2 years ago.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Woo, people charging $5,700 for something that cost $900 last year. Supply and demand, man. That's right. Supply and demand, man. Man. Well, in case you've been under a rock and haven't been paying attention to Student of the Gun lately, this last weekend we held a Patriot Fire Team leadership seminar here in Encampment, Wyoming. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to let you listen to a testimonial from one of our graduates. All right, let's go ahead and thank our good buddies at Duracoat, because life is too short
to have an ugly gun.
That's right. That's right. If you'd like to not have an ugly gun, I don't want to have one. You don't want to have one. And quite frankly, if you've got a firearm right now, it is an investment, and it's probably more valuable than it was yesterday and the day before and the day before. So treat it right. Get that rust off of it. Polish it. Let's say half the bluing is gone or a quarter of the bluing is gone or whatever. Go to Duracoat Firearm Finishes, man, and check them out. They will help you out. They're good people. SWAT Fuel has 9mm plus P in stock. If you're looking for an extra kick in the pants, go to swatfuel.com, use the promo code SOTG, and you will save some money and be a happy camper. And hopefully they will be able to manufacture their vitamins and other stuff in the very near future. You'd think a vitamin company would be essential during a pandemic, but apparently, according to our masters, they are not. All right. Being Wednesday, Zach has something to tell you. So I'm going to close my mouth and let Zach do his thing.
ShopSOTG.com is the perfect place to go if you are a student of the gun. Whether you want to expand your brain, increase your marksmanship, or help keep your family safe. All that, plus the pimp hand brands that you love. ShopSOTG.com has almost anything that an American patriot would want. education, enlightenment, and entertainment, and we're open 24/7. Check out shopsotg.com today and see for yourself.
Yes, indeed. That is what you should do. That is what you should do. And what are we going to go into now? Well, we're going to go into our Student of the Gun Homeroom. We do this each and every week, and it's brought to you by our good friends at CrossBreed Holsters. All right. Hey, Jared, did that sound super muted to you?
I had no audio. I think
Don't
the
worry.
background thing is on Zach's side, but it was fine in the front.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. Because it was super quiet in my ears. All right. CrossBreed Holsters, they have a website. It's called crossbreedholsters.com. It's really hard to find. If you click the show notes, you can open it and go right there. When you make a purchase, use the promo code SOTG18. That does two things. A, it lets them know that people are actually coming from a Student of the Gun to buy products from them, which is good. And it's the most important thing, though, is it saves your money. All right. What are we going to talk about? We usually talk about being dangerous on demand, right? That is our basic theme for the Student of the Gun homeroom. Okay. How can you be dangerous on demand? How would you say?
There are many ways to do that, but you can train is a
Train.
really good way.
Yes, indeed. It's one thing to have the object on you. It's another thing to know how to use it, when to use it, why to use it, where to use it, and all that good stuff. Training. Ladies and gentlemen, we go to training so that we can make mistakes. We make mistakes in training so that we don't make them in real life during the real fight. And this is when you might be out there saying, duh. Well, of course. Yes, you know that, and you say that, and you nod your head up and down, but let's face facts. How many of you guys out there may have said to your friends, your compadres, whatever, I'm going to go do this training course. And then you get the, why are you going to do that? What do you mean? Well, I've been shooting my whole life. My dad taught me how to shoot when I was 5 years old, and I know what I'm doing. I don't need to take a training class. Okay. Did your dad teach you how to fight off bad people in a hardcore adrenaline dump, or did he teach you how to shoot soup cans off of a stump behind your house? Now, if your dad took you out and ran you through force-on-force training drills, great, awesome, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, we make mistakes in training, and we do that so that we don't make them in the real world. A mistake in training will stick with you. You will learn it, and then what will you do, Jared? Or what will you not do?
You won't do it again because you've learned from that mistake. So if you are self-driven enough to make a decision to go to a training class, you will likely learn from your mistakes.
Yes, absolutely. When I was 19 years old, I took my first professional firearms training class from John Farnham. John Farnham yelled at me. He raised his voice.
What a mean guy.
I know. I'll never take training again. You're a mean guy. I've been friends with John now for 36 years. Or however many years. I don't know. How many years has it been since 86? 35? Something like that. But that's what I needed. Because I was young and I was inexperienced. And, I mean, I didn't do anything grossly negligent or anything, but he raised his voice to me. Said, stop doing that. You're going to get. Do you know what I did to make John Farnham raise his voice to me?
What did you do?
Did I ever tell you?
Interested. No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, it was a handgun class, right? We were using handguns. And I had rented a surplus, World War II surplus 1911 from the school, and I had 3 magazines. 3 magazines and a rented gun. And we were running a drill on the first day, and I dropped a magazine. We were doing mag change drills, right? And I dropped a magazine that had a couple of rounds left in it on the ground, which was fine because that's what you're supposed to do, right? And we were standing there, and John was giving the instruction, and I was so mentally bunged up by the fact that there was a magazine on the ground that had ammo in it that I bent down to pick it up. And John yelled at me. He said, "Leave it on the ground. You're going to get your head blown off for 50 cents worth of ammo." Of course, now it'd be like $10 worth of ammo. And I was like, and of course, I looked up and I was like, no, I won't do that again. And that's the kind of things you will learn in a training class. And he was absolutely right. The most important thing for me to do was to have my head up and focus on what was going on around me and not worry about a magazine that had 2 or 3 rounds in it laying on the ground. It's fine. We can get it later. You remember when I told you about training the kids, the military kids, when I was a small arms in Texas, and they'd raise their hand?
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's like,
like
hey,
what?
there's stuff going on over here, and
there's a live round. Right, there's a round on the ground right there.
So you had an orange cone.
Yeah, well, we did all kinds of stuff. One time we do I had an orange cone. I went and grabbed an orange cone and I ran and I set it over the piece of 5.56 ammunition on the ground so that it wouldn't, so everyone would know, not step on it.
Yeah,
and we did the grenade dive. Remember we didn't do that all the time, but I dove on it like it was a live grenade. And I pushed my hand and I said, "Get back, get back, get back." Well, that's dumb. It's not going to. Why would you do that? It's a piece of ammo on the ground in the grass. It's not going to explode. Right. That's my point exactly. It's a piece of ammo on the ground. It's not going to explode.
Did the other instructors know what you were going to do?
Well, after a while, we all kind of got in on it. Or I would do the giant step and put my foot on it.
Oh yeah.
Do the giant step and cover it with my foot.
I was just thinking, like, from an instructor standpoint, you're like, the other instructor dives on the ground and says, "Get back, get back." You're like, what what did they just drop?
We all kind of knew.
Did he drop a grenade?
and we would tell them that it was okay, just leave it there. The EOD is going to come after class with a robot to dispose of it.
And later that night they're like, why would they let EOD come? What?
Oh, they probably, most of them picked up on the sarcasm, but I can imagine, like, years later, them telling stories about, I was on this one training range, and at the end of the day, they would have the EOD come in with a robot to dispose of all the unused ordnance that was on the ground.
That's funny.
But ladies and gentlemen, we go to training so that we can make mistakes in training. That way we don't make the mistakes in the real world. And the better and more often and the higher, what do I want to say? The better the training class is, the more likely you are to make a mistake. And I'm not talking about a deadly force mistake. I'm not talking about pointing guns at people or shooting people. I'm talking about errors in operation of the gun or what have you. Things that happen in the class and you're like, oh man, why did I do that? Or how did that happen? Or whatever. You do that so that you don't do it in the real world. That's why. Because you will learn from that. And if you think, well, I'm a smart person, I know what I'm going to do, I'll know what to do. Okay. That's exactly like a self-taught motorcycle rider. I'm 27 years old. I never rode a motorcycle, but I want one. So I'm going to buy one and I'm going to teach myself how to drive it. And you're good to go. You'll be fine until an obstacle is in the road or you try and go fast and then you are an accident waiting to happen. So ladies and gentlemen, I would highly suggest that you get your hiney into some kind of training class, whether it's a medical class or a force on force class. Now is the time to take the fight from Jaeger at Tactical Response, because you know what your ammo requirement is for that?
0.
You just have to arrive. You have to pay for the class and arrive. All of the training gear is provided for you. So, oh, really? Yeah. And did you see something else that James is doing, Jared?
What's that?
He is, if you are an alumnus and you come and take a class from him, you can purchase the ammo, training ammo from him out of his stock.
Nice.
So a lot of people are like, well, I can't find ammo, so I'm not going to take training. We actually just accomplished a whole weekend's worth of valuable training with a total investment of 200 rounds.
Yep.
200 rounds of 7.62 by 39 and 200 rounds, or well, 100. Each person was required to bring 100 of each. And you're like, how do you do that? You can't do that. There's no way possible you can train with that small amount of ammo.
Yep.
Actually, you can.
We did an entire 2-day class with 200 rounds per person.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, I highly recommend that in this day and age that you park your ego and get your fanny into a training class. And if you say, well, I went to my concealed carry class. It was 8 hours and yada, yada. Okay, great. You started. You're not finished. You just started. Yeah. All right. And this will be the time when I'm going to go ahead and let I'll let another graduate speak their piece. Okay, Jared, I'm going to need your help for this. We've got a story here from, well, it's not a story. It's actually a press release from whitehouse.gov. And for those of you who have the memory of a housefly, or those who have neighbors, friends, relatives, coworkers who have the memory of a housefly, Donald Trump, in addition to donating his annual salary to charity every year, Jared, how many other presidents have donated their annual salary to charity every year in your lifetime?
I'm going to guess none, but I don't know.
That would be zero. None. That would be none.
Well, since I've been an adult, there's only been 2 presidents, actually. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I can tell you in my life, but, the MSM just pretends like that's no big deal. And yeah. So, Jared, accomplishments, verifiable, fact-checking accomplishments. Now, Facebook won't like this because they're run by communists. But go ahead, Jared, and give us some. This, like,
I'm gonna read down this entire. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna read the entire list because it would take me a long time. It would probably be an entire show.
Read a lot.
There's a few different. I wish they had like an easy navigation here for the headers, but there's a few different sections in here, and this one is unprecedented economic boom. It says before the China virus invaded our shores, we built the world's most prosperous economy. And then there's some bullet points in here that says Americans gained 7 million new jobs, more than 3 times the government experts' projections. Middle-class family income increased nearly $6,000, more than 5 times the gains during the entire previous administration. The unemployment rate reached 3.5%, the lowest in a half a century. Achieved 40 months in a row with more job openings than job hirings. More Americans reported being employed than ever before, nearly 160 million. Jobless claims hit a near 50-year low. The number of people claiming unemployment insurance as a share of the population hit its lowest on record. Incomes rose in every single metro area in the United States for the first time in nearly 3 decades.
Now, hang on. You're telling me that under Donald Trump, we hit the lowest unemployment numbers ever.
In a half a century.
In a half a century. But Orange Man, bad.
Yeah, he hates minorities.
And he's a racist too. Don't forget. He's a racist. But despite that, what's the next one there, Jared?
This says delivered a future of great promise and opportunity for citizens of all backgrounds. Unemployment rate for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, Native Americans, veterans, individuals with disabilities, and those with a high school diploma all reached record lows.
without a high school diploma.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant to say. Unemployment for women hit its lowest rate in nearly 70 years, lifted nearly 7 million people off of food stamps. Poverty rates for African Americans and Hispanic Americans reached record lows. Income inequality fell for 2 straight years and by the largest amount in over a decade. The bottom 50% of American households saw a 40% increase in net worth. Wages rose fastest for low-income and blue-collar workers, a 16% pay increase in 4 years. That's pretty good. African American home ownership increased from 41.7% to 46.4%. So about a 5% increase.
Before we go on, I want to remind you guys, when Comrade Barry and Comrade Clinton were in the White House, we lost millions of jobs to Mexico, to China, so on and so forth. And we were told, if you remember, if you guys are, been paying attention like I have been, we were told that was the new normal, that those jobs were gone and they're not coming back. And so you just need to figure out something else to do. You need to get a techie job or a service industry job, because those manufacturing jobs, we were told under Comrade Barry that they're just gone, okay? And they're not coming back, so get used to it. And then we elected Donald Trump in 2016. And what happened? Jared, please say.
What? I don't know what you want from me.
Under brought jobs and factories and industries back.
Oh, you want me to go back to the thing? I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know what you
want.
That
was the setup. I set it up for you.
Created more than 1.2 million manufacturing and construction jobs, put in place policies to bring back supply chains from overseas. Small business optimism broke what does that even mean? That's small business optimism broke a 35-year-old record in 2018. I'd be interested to know how that stat is grabbed.
UB
hit record stock market numbers and record 401ks. It says the Dow closed above 20,000 for the first time in 2017 and topped 30,000 in 2020. That was despite of the coronavirus pandemic.
Yep.
The S&P 500 and NASDAQ have repeatedly notched record highs. This is another section here, rebuilding and investing in rural America. He signed an executive order on modernizing the regulatory framework for agricultural biotechnology products, which is bringing innovative new technologies to the market in American farming and agriculture. Strengthened America's rural economy by investing over $1.3 billion through the Agriculture Department Reconnect program to bring high-speed broadband infrastructure to rural America. Let me go down here. There's some stuff that I read before that I made sure I wanted to talk about. Oh, massive deregulation. It says ended the regulatory assault on American businesses and workers. Instead of 2 for 1, we eliminated 8 old regulations for every one new regulation adopted. Provided the average American household an extra $3,100 every year, reduced the direct cost of regulatory compliance by $50 billion, and will reduce costs by an additional $50 billion in fiscal year 2020 alone. Removed nearly 25,000 pages from the Federal Register, which was more than any other president. The previous administration added over 16,000 pages. Established the Governor's Initiative on Regulatory and Innovation to reduce outdated regulations at the state, local, and tribal levels. Where's the other one? There was another one that was pretty interesting to me.
Okay. Zachary.
Hello.
Who's monitoring Discord right now?
I'm currently looking at it.
Okay. Are there any questions in Discord?
No.
Okay. No. Are you depressed, Zach?
Jared asked a question and saying, should I turn it up more? But other than that.
Oh, yeah, because with Facebook, what I've noticed, when we're live, if somebody asks a question, but then more people jump in and add comments, that disappears.
Yeah, you can only see the
You
top
can only
3.
see 4. Yeah, the top 4. So. How are you still looking for that thing you wanted to mention, Jared?
Yeah, you continue if I find it, because this list is pretty long. If I find it, then I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's massive. It's a massive list, and Zach, how
can I
far
help
are
you?
we into this show right now?
We're currently 35 minutes and 32 seconds.
35 minutes and 32 seconds in. Okay. And then we've got 10 minutes worth of testimonials. So that bring it up to about 45. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening live right now and you have a question, this is a perfect time for you to ask it. What does the future hold? I'm going to tell you guys, I just don't know. I see horrible things, dangerous things happening all around us. And what's sad to me is tomorrow, I'm going to give you a hint about tomorrow. We talked about remember the redheaded bozo chick who thinks that we should all be deprogrammed? And you're like, well, that's just one person. And then we had the guy from PBS who thinks that Trump supporters' children should be taken away from them to go to special re-education camps. And you say, okay, well, that's just 2 people. And then we had a third one. Who was the third one? Oh, the political director from ABC News. The political director from ABC News said, yeah, the problem isn't getting rid of Trump. The problem now is cleansing his movement. And you say, okay, well, that's just 3 separate instances from 3 separate sources. That doesn't mean anything. We've got another one for you tomorrow. And they're using what should scare the ever-living crap out of you and be a cause for concern is the media is throwing around deprogramming and re-education like no one's business. I cannot fathom that I'm living in a country where people who claim to be part of the fourth estate, the watchdogs, and let's face facts, they're no longer the watchdogs. They're the lapdogs. The media used to be the watchdogs for liberty. They're the ones that they were supposed to keep the government honest and let us know whenever the government stepped out of line. They're no longer the watchdogs. They're the lapdogs. And we're going to play audio tomorrow from yet another, well, it's more than one, members of the mainstream media that think that you need to be sent somewhere to get your head right. That should concern you. That should be a cause for grave concern. We've got a story tomorrow. We're going to talk about Oregon. It's either tomorrow or Friday. The governor wants the legal authority to seize private property anytime it declares a state of emergency. So the executive branch can declare a state of emergency and flush the Bill of Rights down the toilet. Really? Did you know that, Jared? Did you know that in the United States, you can just vote to nullify your local state legislature can vote to nullify the Constitution?
That's interesting.
Well, now you know.
They're the ones in charge. They can do whatever they want.
That's right. That's right. They are
the leaders.
No, actually, somebody in our audience mentioned, they said, has anyone else noticed that they are using the term lawmaker more often now?
Yeah.
That the media, you're like, oh, there's no coordination in media. Yeah, there's not. Did you find that?
No, I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay.
I'll let it go. But what I recommend doing is going to the Federal Register every single day, see what's going on with your government, because they put this register out there and they tell you at least some of the things, probably all, but who knows.
At least for now, they have to be transparent, but how much longer is that going to last?
Yeah. But I mean, like today's PDF alone is 1,376 pages. So unless you're jobless or you're retired, then, which I guess is technically jobless, then you probably don't have time to read all these pages, but you can at least see a high level overview of what's being worked on. And then you can dive down into the things that you're interested in.
Well, that's the equivalent of a 100,000 word bill in Congress. They're like, this bill is 102,000 words. They know you're not going to read it. They know that. That's why it's so long. That's why it's so full of crap, because they know that the average person isn't going to read it. And so they can just get away with what they want to get away with. I'm going to leave you guys with this. If the United States media, if the mainstream media was still the watchdog for the people, don't you think they would have dove into the quote-unquote COVID relief bill with the $800 billion being sent overseas? Don't you think they would have been a little bit curious about that? The media today doesn't even care. They just think it's great. They're like, yeah, that's great. For fairness and equality and women's rights and blah, 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 blah. And it's crazy. It's, I feel like I'm living in bizarro world right now. All right, Zach, Discord and Facebook. Are there any questions before I pop smoke on this show?
No, Father, there is not.
All right. Well, looks like you guys, looks like we answered all your questions. That's a sign of a good instructor. Or is it? I don't know. Such a good instructor that all the questions were already answered. There you go. All right, tomorrow, we've got a grad program bonus hour on Thursday. We got a grad program bonus hour on Friday. And, Jared had an idea. You know how the Patriot Fire Team leadership training seminars, we've been hosting them at the Markle Homestead. I've opened up my home, my wife's home, to you guys, and my wife has cooked for you. So it's obviously a very personal thing. Jared said, why don't we open up the leadership training seminars to all of our alumnus?
Yes.
And I think that's a good idea.
Yep.
I think that's a good idea. What do you think, Zach? Do you think that's a fair idea or a good idea?
I think that's a great idea.
Anybody who's ever taken training is able to take the Patriot Fire Team Leadership Seminar. Are you on board with the other idea that I had before I talk about it, about the people bringing their teams?
We need to hash that out.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to hash that out like in detail.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're an alumnus, that essentially means that you've been here, we've met you, you have an investment in the product, and that's why we opened it up initially just to grad program members, because quite frankly, you're an extended member of the family, and you have some investment in the product. You know, in our world, there's a lot of drive-by people, you know, that don't have any kind of emotional or financial investment, and they just stick their hand out and they want free crap. You know, give me free training, give me information for free and for nothing, and I have no investment in it. And those people really don't get. If you have no investment, you know, I spoke this weekend. I said the reason I don't do free training anymore, or at least I do limited free training, is because if you don't have an investment in it, you don't appreciate it. And people who invested, and I tell you what, our students this weekend invested. They didn't just invest money; they invested time, and they drove from, you know, literally thousands of miles away to get here, and that is a serious, dedicated investment. And when if you invest your time and your money, and you know you have to travel, you're going to get more out of that experience than somebody that just had it spoon-fed to them. And it's just the reality of the world that in which we live. So when so pay attention, all you freaks and freakettes out there. If you are an alumnus, if you're a student of the gun alumnus, you've taken Beyond the Band-Aid or the rifle courses or whatever, Zach in the very near future will be posting a list of future dates for PFT leadership. If you want to get in on those, then fantastic. All right, I think that's time to Pop Smoke, put the cork in this one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, before we close out, I just want to let you guys know that if you're listening, go join the Discord server. That's where all the shenanigans happen when we're live. It's studentofthegun.com/discord. Go join that. The name of the server, if you're already on Discord, is Official SOTG Server.
There you go. There you go. All right, kids, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.